Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Pray First, a conversation we have Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, right here on the Pastor Doug page. It's so good to have you. It's an interactive conversation, so hashtag live if you're joining us live in the 7 o'clock hour here on this Friday, December the 3rd. Hashtag record if you're joining us at any other time. Hashtag shared and get this out on your pages. Another great way that you can share this is to tag your friends in the comments. There are some people that you're going to want to hear today's discussion, and you're going to want to share that with them. Well, tag their names in the comments. Send it out to them. There may be a share button already. Go ahead and do that. I want to shout out some good mornings to Amy Farley Allen. What's up? Where's Braxton? What's going on, Brax? Hit some hearts, hit some likes, man. Kimmy Crane, Lana Casarino, Aaron Snyder. Good morning out there in Texas. Good morning, everybody. Barbie, Michelle, Jerry. It's good to see you guys. We're going to continue the conversation. We've been talking about looking out into our world and asking the question, what breaks our heart? I hope that you guys will go over to the Pray First official group and join it. How many of you are already members of the Pray First official group? Hashtag yep. I need to see some yeps out there of the Pray First official group. I'm going to be asking a big question today. We're going to get a little bit more practical today, and I'm going to help you answer the question, what breaks your heart and what to do about that. I want you to help answer the question, what needs to be done around me and how can you do something about that? So I'm very excited about giving you practical steps and measures. One of the reasons I want you to go over and join the Pray First official Facebook group is so that you can share a story about someone who has invested in your life, okay? So at the end of this, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, and I want you all to participate. Please remember, this is interactive. And that goes a little bit further than just, hitting the hearts and hitting the likes and hashtagging live and recorded and shared and all those things and, conversating in here. I want you to go over and share a story in the Pray First group today. So make sure you're a part of that, and I'll tell you how at the end of today's discussion. Here's my initial question for you all. Have you ever had someone do something selfishly for you? They wanted something in return. We all have. Now let me ask a better question, because remember, when you ask better questions, you get better answers. How many of you have ever had someone do something selflessly for you? I mean, they did something for you, they invested in your life, they gave to you, they were good to you, they contributed to you, they were encouraging to you, they provided for you. They looked outside of themselves and they asked the question, what needs to be done around me? They answered the question, what breaks my heart? And they did something about it. They did something for me. How many out there have ever had someone do something for you? Hashtag me, okay? Hashtag me. I want to see some hashtag me's. These people invested in you. They did something for you. They cared about you. They encouraged you. Everybody, I can see the names popping up of who is with us and who's joining us. So I'm asking a specific question right now, and I want all of you to answer. How many of you have ever had someone do something for you? Hashtag me. Someone invested in you. Someone gave to you. Someone did something for you. They answered the question, what breaks their heart? They answered the question, what needs to be done around me? If you've ever had someone to do something for you, invest in you, love you, be kind to you, be generous to you, then you've been a recipient of someone who answered the question, what needs to be done around me? They didn't just look at their life and think, I have, 99 problems and yours is not one of them, okay? They didn't think, I've got enough on my plate. I have enough, just barely enough for me and my family. They looked outside of themselves and reached to you and grabbed your hand and did something for you. I can't hashtag right now, but hashtag me. I am a recipient of that. I'm sitting here today because of what people have done in my life. So over on the Pray First official group, would you please, all of you who are hashtagging me, go over and share a story of a time when someone answered the question, what breaks their heart? Someone answered the question, what needs to be done around me? And they did something for you. Okay, so here's a question you may be wondering. How do I know what to do? How do I know who to help? How do I know what specific area that I need to focus my attention on? Because, come on, none of us can do everything, right? How do I know what I should do? Well, when we read Nehemiah chapter 1, Nehemiah looked outside of his world, his cupbearer to the king world. He looked outside the palace. He looked outside, just his own family, his own needs. And he saw the children of God, the children of Judah, were in trouble and disarray, and the walls were down, and the gates were burned, and people were being hurt, and people were being harmed, and it broke his heart. That's how he specifically knew, I've got to go do something about the walls. I've got to go do something about the gates. I've got to go do something that's going to provide protection for the people. They're my people. I haven't even met these people, but it's breaking my heart that they're exposed. It's breaking my heart that they're alone, that they're in trouble. So the way that you know the area that you need to reach out to and touch and do something about that area is it breaks your heart. When you see it on TV, you can't even watch it. When you read news articles about it, I can't even look at that. It's things that you've prayed about and said, God, send somebody to do something about that. Because if you find out what breaks your heart, it's going to take your breath away. It's going to cause you. And a lot of times, what breaks your heart is a particular plight that you were once in. I'm going to say that again. A lot of times what will break your heart is a particular plight or lot in life that you were once in. I guarantee you, if you once had a need, or you once, had a felt need, or you were poor, or you were lonely, or you were, whatever that need was, whatever that area was in your life, you were divorced, or you didn't have enough food, or you didn't have some of the things that you needed. I guarantee you that if you look at that and you see that in the eyes of someone else, it gets you. It'll break your heart. So how do you know what you need to do, what you need to focus on? It's that thing that breaks your heart, and a lot of times it's the area that you used to be in. You have to discover this. You have to discover what breaks your heart, what takes your breath, narrow it down, and then find real options to express your brokenness. All right, let me say that again. You have to narrow it down. You have to feel and find real options. Okay, so here's what Nehemiah did when he saw the need outside of his own self. Number one, he cried. I see what Glory wrote. She says, if you've once lived it, you can feel it. How many of you would agree with that? Hit some thumbs. If you've once lived it, and here's mine. There's my thumbs. If you've once lived it, you can feel it. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of the followers of Jesus, we need to recognize that we go through things so that we can feel it. We go through things so that we can know and we can respond. So the first thing Nehemiah sees is he sits down and he cries. How many of y'all ever just sat down and cried? # cried. His second response, though, was that he began to pray. He earnestly began to pray from the brokenness that was inside of him. Have you ever prayed for someone? Have you ever prayed for someone else's need? Not just say, I'm going to pray for you, but you felt so broken that every once in a while you thought about it again and it broke you and you'd pray for them again. So he prays, but he doesn't skip the third step. And this may be the most important. You say, Pastor, it might be the most important over praying. Well, yeah, when someone's starving, there's something more important than praying. It's feeding. When someone's unprotected, there's something more important than praying. It's building a wall around them. It's providing a shelter. It's bringing them in. When someone is cold and lonely, there's something more important than praying. It's providing friendship, an encouraging word, a place to come, a place to be, an ear to listen to. I want to say two things that I saw just yesterday from our Pray First family. And I see these from time to time, but I'm just going to share two of them real quick. Glory McNeese is one of our Pray First family members. She's also a member of our church. She's also a personal family friend of mine. She goes to an elderly nursing home in the town she lives in, my hometown, actually. And she has developed relationships with these people. And she was there just the other day and celebrated the birthday with a 111-year-old beautiful, beautiful lady. And these ladies and these people just wait for her to show up. And she just provides, comfort to them. She provides fellowship to them. She loves on them. She doesn't have to go there. She's not paid to go there. This is just something that she answered the question, what breaks her heart? If she looked outside of herself and did something, this is what she did when she looked around and said, what needs to be done around me. Do you know, elderly people need someone to care that they exist and to feel, wanted and loved and cared for. And it just threw me yesterday and just really blew my heart up, and I just kept thinking about it. So I had to write her a little message and thank her for changing her world. Another one I saw yesterday was Chip Myers, another Pray First family member here, noticed a young man who's struggling in some areas in his life at work. And this wasn't at church, this wasn't in his family, this wasn't in his neighborhood, this was someone at his work struggling in a particular area of his life, and he offered him his phone number. He offered him a phone call. Reach out, call me, talk to me. I'll just listen to you. I'll hear you. This is opportunities for people who have felt something to express something. So yeah, look out there and cry. Look out there and pray. But then find a real way to do something about it. Come on, guys. Hit some hearts, hit some likes. So this young man and Chip had this conversation. And I don't know how far I should go into what all was said because it's, I don't know. But anyway, the call ended very well. And Chip now has planted some seeds in this young man, some influence in this young man. And now he has a friend in Chip. And Chip's going to be part of his story. So these are the kind of stories I want to encourage you to be a part of. And I want you to share it on Pray First. Please go share them in the Pray First group, please. It's very important that we share these stories. You say, I don't want any credit. This isn't about giving you credit. Just erase false humility from your lips, your mind, your ears, and start encouraging people by doing things and saying things. People should know that we're Jesus' disciples by the way we love one another. People should be able to look at it. People should be able to see it. People should be able to hear it. It encourages us. Sometimes it gives us an idea for something we can do because we feel powerless and hopeless. Because when we look outside of ourselves, there's so many problems, so many issues, so much going on. It's overwhelming, and we think, I can't do anything about it. Well, yes, you can. Glory is doing something about it. I can't do anything about it. Yes, you can. Chip is doing something about it. And we may not think it's huge. We may not think it's big. But there's a reason Jesus' command was love one another and not go pray. There's a reason that Jesus' command was go love one another and not sit and cry. There's a reason that he says our Father has not given us a spirit of fear, but love, power, and a sound mind. So what is it? Here's a question I want to ask, and then I'm going to give you some practicals. What is it at the end of your life that you would like for people to line up and thank you for? Have you ever thought about that? If you haven't, you should. At the end of your life, what is it that you would like people to line up and thank you for? I tell you what, I've got a long list of thank yous that I want to give other people. And those thank yous that I want to give other people have birthed empathy in me and sympathy in me and a lifelong ambition to do something about other people who are in the places where I was or where I am. What do you want people to line up at the end of your life? At the end of your life, what do you want people to line up and thank you for? And please, do not say, I don't need thanks. This isn't about you. And please don't say, I didn't do, this isn't about you. What did you do that made the difference in the life of someone else? That's what it's about. This isn't, what do I need to do about Doug, or what do I need to do about Chip, or what do I need to do about Glory, or what do I need to do about Brandy, or what do I need to do about Laura Guthrie, or what do I need to do about Patricia Berry, or what do I need to do about, Mike Doddridge or Dennis Pitts. This is, what do I need to do around me? Share those stories. Now, let me give you the problem with answering this question. When you answer the question, what breaks your heart, and when you answer the question, what needs to be done around me, it's going to require something from you. It's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you time. It may cost you a little time. It's going to cost you maybe a little money. It's going to cost you some things. And here's something about us. We're life preservers, not life givers. We're life savers, not life givers. By nature, we are life protectors, not life offerers. We are life protectors, preservers, savers. But when you answer the question, what breaks your heart and what needs to be done around you, it's going to cost you some time, and it's going to cost you some money, and it's going to cost you some time with your family. Come on. It's going to cost you some quality time with your spouse. It's going to cost you some quality time with your children. And you say, well, God couldn't want that. He wants you to put the family and your spouse and your kids and everybody first. We'll talk about that. We'll see what he says about that. But it's going to cost you some life. It's going to cost you some time, money, opportunity. It's going to cost some of you reputation, because you're going to need to hang out with some folks that, even the church people are going to condemn you for, okay? So remember the temple and Jesus, man, every time he hung out with Matthew, the tax collector, the lady by the well, one of the biggest, crimes Jesus committed was that he hung out with sinners, and he ate with sinners, and he did things with sinners, and it's going to cost you some reputation. So let me paraphrase something Jesus said, and I want to kind of give you some things. Jesus says, whoever devotes themselves to themselves will have nothing but themselves to show for themselves. Jesus says, in a paraphrase, I want to read the scripture, whoever devotes themselves to themselves will have nothing but themselves to show for themselves. Where do you find that, Pastor? Luke chapter 14, 25 through 26. Large crowds followed Jesus, and turning to them, he said, it's more of a, turning to him is, fine, but he was really turning on them. These people were just kind of following him around, kind of eating the food, taking in the miracles, watching him from a distance. Large crowds, everywhere Jesus went, large crowds, stinky, scabby, sick, diseased people were following around, just wanting to touch him. You ever just had somebody just want to touch you and just poke you and prod you and hit you and just get around them, and they real touchy-feely? And this was a crowd full of folks with scabs and sores and pus and blood and smell and stench and disease and death. I mean, they're hiding up there with their, dead cousin from a week ago. They heard Jesus was coming to town. Large crowds was following Jesus, and he turned on them and he said, listen to these words, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, let's just focus in on the word hate real quick. Obviously, he's not talking about hate as in an emotion. He tells us that we're not to hate anyone, and if we don't forgive, that we're unforgivable. And he tells us to love one another and do good to our enemies and those who spitefully. He's not talking about the emotion of hate. He's talking about putting them in order. If you do not deny their lordship in your life, if you do not deny, look, they're not first, reprioritizing. If anyone does not reprioritize his father and mother, his wife and his children, his brothers and sisters, and then look, and then here's how you know not hate. Yes, even their own life, even their own desires, even their own wants. If your Lord is your father, your mother, your spouse, your kids, or your life, if you do everything to, feed your life, your lust, your pride, your needs, your wants, your whatever, even good things. Listen to what he says. If you do not, anyone who comes to me and does not hate his father, mother, wife, children, brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, such a person cannot be my disciple. Everybody hashtag disciple. Jesus says you can follow me around. You can call yourself a follower. You can call yourself a Christian. But Jesus says, you who follow me around, you who call yourselves Christians, you're not my disciple until I'm the ultimate say. I'm the ultimate decider. I'm the ultimate scheduler of your life. I'm the ultimate decision maker of your life. Yeah, you can follow me around. You can call yourself a follower. You can call yourself a Christian, but you're not a disciple. And this is the word that Jesus uses to so clearly define us who are his children. So let me give you a couple of areas where you can invest in people's lives and where you can answer the question, what needs to be done around me? Number one, hashtag number one. Here are some practical opportunities. Serve in your church. Serve in your church. Okay, some of you are thinking right now, Pray First is my church. Okay, then I'm going to give you practical ways to serve here at your church. Pray First. If this is your church, I go to Crosspoint Online or whatever you do online. Okay, well, if that's your church, don't just follow me around. And don't just follow the teachings and don't just listen to the teachings and you tune in when the broadcast is on. No, if this is your church, you need to be actively participating in changing the world around you. At our church, we have things called dream teams. You can be on the lawn care team, the janitorial team, the first impressions team, the children's team, the students team, the worship team, the tech team. The teams just go on and on and on. I think we have 25 or 26 teams at our church. Some people, are on stage teams where they're under lights and they're seen and they're watched, and other people are behind the scenes and reset chairs every week. You say, well, how does that affect people's lives? Everything you do affects people's lives. Resetting the chairs at our church affects people's lives. Find something in your church. Now, we have something called Growth Track where you can learn about who you are, who we are, and how to become part of our dream team and serve in our church. But scrubbing toilets, scrubbing floors, I'm telling you, I've been preaching now, I'm pastoring now for 15 years. Pastoring now for 15 years. And the message that gets preached to me is when I see people like Barbie Shook and Tony cleaning the church during the week when no one's there. No one sees, no one's watching. I see with what care that they wipe the windows and the floors, and how the building goes from one smell to another smell, to a clean smell, to an atmosphere where when people come in, they feel like they're loved. They can come in and it doesn't feel chaotic. They can come in and they feel that the building was made ready. We were expecting them to show up. That's the message I get preached to. I do a lot of preaching from the platforms, but Barbie and Tony and Laurie Brashier and many others in this room preach to me, and Heather Cripe, Mike Dodgers, people resetting chairs, and I see them down there. Nobody's watching, nobody's listening, nobody even knows a lot of times that these things are happening or have to happen every week, sometimes multiple times a week. It makes a difference. The second way that you can do something to answer the question, what's going on, is find some faith-based organizations. Some people who are feeding the need, feeding the hungry. They are always looking for volunteers. Look for a local food pantry. Look for a local clothing facility. Look for a local addiction recovery. And you think, I don't have the credentials. If it breaks your heart, there is something you can do. Raking leaves, smiling at people, picking up cigarette butts. Nothing's beneath you, okay? Nothing is beneath you. How can you lead if you can't follow? There's nothing beneath us to do. Scrubbing toilets, whatever you think is beneath you, there's nothing beneath us, and it can make a difference. Faith-based, non-faith-based organizations. I'm the CEO of a non-faith-based organization, and when I say that, some people think, well, you're a faith person. Yeah, most people on our team is a person of faith, but we have found that to reach people outside of the church, you've got to do things that are not church-related, and you've got to include people who are not faith-related, working hand in hand, side by side, sharing resources with the community around us, and showing them that, we need each other, and we're not weird, and we're not crazy, and we're not, cultish, and we're not stereotyping you guys. We're not racially motivated. We're not, better than you. So many people think, well, we got to get together with the church, and we got to get together with fellow Christians, and we got to get together. No, you don't. Go find something outside of your church and help someone. Non-faith-based organizations where people can look at you and say, thank you for coming alongside of me. I didn't think you would do that. Mentoring in schools, after programs. We're going to talk a lot more about this on Monday. I'm going to get even more specific. You're going to die at the last one I'm going to give you before I pray. Politics. Yeah. Serving your community through politics and influence. We need more people who want to come serve the public and love the people and use their influence for the good of the people in city governments, county governments, local governments, national governments. So followers of Christ, let me say this finally and lastly, followers of Christ should leave behind nouns better than they found them. Hashtag nouns, N-O-U-N-S. Followers of Christ should leave behind nouns better than they follow them. People, places, and things. Okay. So, now, in honor of those who have asked and answered these questions in your life, what breaks my heart, what needs to be done around me, go to go to Pray First, official group page on Facebook, and share a story about a time someone did something for you. Father, right now in the name of Jesus, I pray you bless every person on this Friday and this weekend. Father, help us to reach out to people and do something about our tears, do something about our angst, do something about, the things that break our heart. Because people who blame things don't change things. Blame is not a strategy for change. It is the way we avoid it. In Jesus' name. And all God's people said, amen. Love you guys. I'll see you later. And again, I meant to get way more specific today about opportunities for you. Monday, I'm going to get way more specific about opportunities for you to do this. So, bye. See you Monday.